welcome back. I'm glad you made it this far. So, the basics of flying a drone is that we have three main control axes, and then a throttle. So, on the right stick, oh, hang on, I gotta click back over here. Yeah. On the right stick, when you move it left and right, that is roll. And then when you push forward and back on the right stick, that is pitch. On the left stick, when you go left and right, that is yaw. And then up and down is throttle. So throttle is basically just controlling how fast the propellers are spinning. So when it's not spinning at all, you see how we're dropping back down to the ground. And if I raise the throttle up to a hover point, we should basically just come off the ground and just hold off the ground. So what yaw does is that the yaw will spin the drone perpendicular to the flat axis of the drone. So it's spinning around the y-axis. Think of it that way if we're looking at a graph. Okay. And what roll does is that you roll side to side, rotating around the z-axis. And then when you do pitch, it pitches forward and pitches back on the x-axis of the drone. And this is all relative to the direction that the camera's pointed at. So if you notice, I pitched forward and I let go, hands are completely off. You see how the drone holds that forward pitch? And that's what we're calling uh, full acro mode or rate mode. And that means that whatever input you give, when you take your hand off, it's going to hold that attitude until you make a change. Okay. And the reason that I picked Street League as the starting point is that the RPM limiter makes this drone very docile, where it takes one major thing out of the repertoire that you have to learn initially, and that's throttle control. For the most part, you're gonna keep this throttle pinned at all times, and you're gonna use your yaw, your roll, and your pitch to control the drone. And when you're flying, it's basically it's coordination of all three of those controls. We're not going to have to think about the throttle right now because everything has been designed to just keep the throttle pinned and let you learn how to control the drone with these three axes of control. So if you notice, I'm flying towards that pylon right now, and if I yaw, I'm still flying straight at that pylon. So yaw, you have to remember, does not actually change the direction of the drone that it's flying in. It's going to continue to fly straight, and no matter how much you yaw, it's still going to fly straight because it's rotating on that z-axis, or sorry, on the y-axis. Think of it as more of camera control, so you can look right or you can look left, but because the camera's angled up, when you look right or left, it kind of creates this like arc motion. And that'll come into play a little bit when we're start to fly. So as we're flying too, if we were to, hang on, let me put this on the ground. And if we just purely throttled, you see how we're kind of going straight up and down? So once you start hitting full throttle, pitch forward and that'll start moving. And pay attention to the ground. If you're getting close, you got to pitch back to gain elevation or pitch forward to get closer to the ground. So if I wanted to go over this mountaintop here, we're going to pitch back until we clear it, and we're going to pitch forward until we level. And then if I want to descend, I pitch forward, and then I start pitching back to not hit the ground. So that is the very, very first basics of flying the drone. And we're going to remember on the Street League, we're just going to keep this pinned and we're going to focus on learning what the controls do. The main way to fly a drone is going to be rolling and pitching back. And then you can roll it back flat again. And then you're going to roll and pitch back. And that's going to be your main form of controlling the drone. Now, as you roll and pitch back, you can also add in a little bit of yaw to level off the camera towards the end of the turn. So I can roll, pitch back, and then feed a little bit of yaw. But do you notice how as I'm even though I'm even though I'm not pitching back right now, if I roll and yaw, you see how we're spiraling forward and spiraling up? I mean, so that's one thing that you're gonna have to remember as you if you're gonna roll and yaw at the same time, you sometimes will need to control a little bit of pitch to make sure that you're not elevating. So if I don't push anything at all and I'm just rolling and yawing, you see how we're going up. So I have to nudge it forward just a little bit to come back down. And we're going to keep practicing all this motion so that you learn to coordinate everything together. Okay. So at this point, if you've kind of flown around, you figured out how to navigate roughly around some of these trees, how to elevate, how to get closer to the ground, and figured out the rough basic control, we're going to go ahead and hit A on the keyboard, and that's going to start a lapped race. We're going to go full throttle and pitch forward so that we're flying towards this first pylon, and we're going to go right around it, and then we're going to come down right around, and then we're going to have to navigate these trees right here to the next pylon. And then we're going to basically fly a big oval. And then once you come around to the other side, we're going to have to navigate some of these trees as well. And then we're going to start lap two. And the time will finish once you've completed the third lap. So we're on lap two right now. And you can go over the trees if you want, or you can go around the trees. So I've purposely set this track up so that you can kind of figure that navigation out. And what I really would like you to do is pick one time that you go over the trees and then pick another time that you go around the trees. So once you've gone through and navigated these trees to hit the next checkpoint, and then once you've gone up and over the trees to navigate the checkpoint, that you should have a reasonably good grasp on these controls, and then you're ready to move on to the next track. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. And I hope you had fun. The next track is definitely going to be a little more fun. See you in the next one.